The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk. The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Amachama alungi abatukereddeko ku mpewo zaffe za Alternative Digital. Florida bikubirege manya gange ntuuseewo. It is a Wednesday, enaku z'omwezi ziri 29. Tukyali mu mwezi gwa Novemba omwaka tuli mu 2023. Njagala okubategeeza nti banayo we are only counting days to Christmas. Christmas mode yayingiddewo dda, but also njagala okubakubiriza mmwe mwenna abasettinga New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, nti bananga it is not the end of life. We still have 2024 and many more years to come. Bwabanga wali ekitatambudde bulungi, yes, we all agree 2023 hasn't been an easy year for most of us. Wadde nga waliya bo abamu kwaba batono omwaka begutambulidde obulungi. So the main word to take here is the 2023 hasn't been a good year for most of us kakugumye nti yosobole kulaba nga ate teweekubagiza nnyo ate nze naakola ki ate nze, you know, I started reminding you that you start saving for Christmas. We are now counting days. Bwobanga obadde okolera Kampala nga abazadde bo bali mu kyalo, they are expecting you to visit them not empty handed, ng'olina by'obatwalidde. Kiki sanyusa nnyo omuzadde ng'omwana wamulabyeko mufumbo si mufumbo naye ng'alina by'asitudde byamutwalidde ng'omwana, because okukuza omwana it is an investment. Omuteekamu kyonna ky'oba osobola ng'akula, sakida ti bw'onaaba ng'okaddiye omwana oyo anaasobola okulabirira. So nno munnange mbakubiriza bonna mwena we still have days sobola okuba nga ate osavinga w'akasente bw'oba tosobodde genda kulaba ku mukadde n'omuweerezayo kasente ka Christmas. Yadde nga bamu ku mmwe mugamba mpoze Christmas temalamu, abakadde abo bo ejja kubanga ate bakwatira ddala ku mutima yadde gwe n'obanga togenze. So nno muweerezeyo kasente oba gula ebintu ogenda omukyalire ko banditwala bingi munaye teyatuukaka akatono koyinaako akatono koyina keetike okatwale omukadde alyeko yenna eyakukuza ayinza okuba nga si maamawo naye nga sengawo oba kojjaawo oba jjajjaawo yenna omuntu oyo eyakukuza osobola ogenda n'omusanyusaamu naddala mu nnaku zino ez'ebikujjuko olunaku lw'eggulo twalabyeko General Muhoozi Kainerugaba wansi eyo downtown ng'ali mu kulambula enguudo oba works eziri mu kugenda maaso ku nguudo z'ekibuga Kampala nanti twetegekera emikolo nono omulimu guno ogwaweebwa aba SFC era nga bano basaba billions 2 zokka okumala omulimu guno era ne batusuubiza nti omulimu guno gugenda kuggwa mu nnaku 45 naye nga omukulembeze we yabalambuliddeko babadde bakatambulirako ddala katono ne bamutegeeza nti munnange mukama waffe enkuba eyonoona emirimu gyaffe nti nomba mwakatabula material ate enkuba neetonya ate nga material alina okuba ne certain level of moisture content kati oyono n'abanga agoyinze to west oba nga ayonoonese era omukulu ono yalabiseeko ne executive director wa KCCA omukyala Dorothy Kisaka era nga babadde bali mu kulambula emirimu era batandikiddeyo ku Kiyembe line ne bakirira baabo bakiridde awo wansi ku Baton Street ne bavaayo ne bayitawo ku William Street omukulu General Muhoozi nga bali ne idi wa KCCA n'abakozi abali mu kuddaabiriza enguudo z'ekibuga Kampala abakozi okuva mu SFC munnange kyagambibwa nti omukulu ensonga lwaki yawa abakulu ba SFC omulimo guno nti at least bo tebagenda ku hiringa equipment zigenda kubanga zikola omulimu guno ate ne human resource bamuyina abantu babayina mu SFC abajja okubanga ate bali mu kutambuza emirimu gino yadde nga bano basaitinzemu buchallenges obutono bwe bazze ba facinga okuli drainage eziri blocked era nga bano bagamba nti babadde nga reaching out to KCCA because most of the drainages ku streets ze Kampala ziri blocked iyo nsonga lwaki osanga nti enkuba bwetonya nga kana akadde bwe tuli mu biseera bya nkuba you find most of the roads flooded yensonga nti era bano bagambye nti era batuukirira abakulu ba KCCA ne babasaba basooke ba unblocking a drainage system then ne balyoke bakole yensonga mu kuzo nayo eri mu kudelayinga emirimu gino bano nno ne bagamba nti ate ne traffic jam ali mu kibuga naye abalemesezza okubanga bakola emirimu gyabwe mu butuufu nti mu peak hours baba tebakola kuva ssaawa 12 ez'okumakya paka ssaawa 4 ez'essaawa baba tebakola emmotoka ziba nnyingi ku makubo so baba tebasobola kugenda maaso n'emirimu gyabwe kibaleetedde okubanga ate bongezaayo the working time okubanga ate abakozi baabwe bakola n'ekiro weewawo nga bagamba nti ate ekiro there are some works batasobola kukola kiro era nga kino kyo kireeteddemuko okubanga badireyinga okukola emirimu gyabwe era bano bagamba nti ate n'essaawa z'olweggulo ssaawa 10 paka ssaawa 1 ey'olweggulo era baba tebasobola kukola kubanga ate emmotoka zibeera nnyingi ku makubo ono ne yayogedde bino ye lieutenant engineer Kikomeko Kigongo ono nga ye deputy project engineer wa project eno eri mu kugenda maaso ey'okubanga baddaabiriza ebinnya era bagambye nti enkuba eneefuna embye mu guno omwezi gwa November ereetedde ebinnya okubanga byeyongera depth nti buli nkuba lwetonya ate emmotoka ne ziyita mu binnya bino nga enkuba mweri so ebinnya byeyongerawo okugaziwa ate sometimes enkuba eno ewashing away the materials gye baba bakozesezza okubanga baziba ebinnya bino ensonga lwaki balaba nti omulimu gwabwe gutambula mpola naye nga bano beeyamye okulaba nga badelivering in the 45 days ze basuubiza okubanga ate project yaabwe ejja kubanga ewedde bulungi nnyo ngenda kuvaako awo ntambule mu buufu bwe bumu State Minister for Works omukulu Musa Echweru onono yavuddeyo n'alabula bannayuganda okubanga mwewala amakubo agali flooded mu budde buno obw'enkuba onono yategeeza n'atugamba nti abantu bangi nnyo bamala gatambula naddala ba motorists bayita mu makubo ag'enkuba nga tebageejinze oba ekinnya kiwanvu nnyo oba waliwo obuzibu bwonna era ono yategeezezzaako n'atugamba nti ezo nno ze zimu ku nsonga lwaki tuli mu kufiirwa abantu bangi nnyo si wano mu kibuga Kampala wokka but ne mu other local districts nti amakubo agamu abamu basanga n'akapande nga bakateeseewo nti banaye ekkubo liri out of use naye ne bawalaza empaka ne bayitawo yabawooningidde ddala bagamba nti bw'osanganga ekkubo nga omugga gubooze obanga ekkubo munange liri flooded owalirizibwa okuba nga okomaawo nosobola okuba nga ate okozesa an alternative olw'ensonga oba tolina alternative sooka oddeyo wakafaza wekibeera nga ekizibu tekiri agent okuba nga ate osobola okutaasa obulamu bwo obutagenda ate ne floods eziri mugenda mu maaso mu nkuba eno enkuba ya November yo ebadde mpitirivu muka era ono yavuddeyo nayogerako eri abakulembeze ku district n'abagamba ati ndayimulindeko okusaasanya akasente akaweerera ddala aka 2 billion government kebawa oba state kebawa okulaba nga muddaabiriza amakubo agamu era ngono yategeezezaako n'agamba nti basabye supplementary budget okuba nga bongera abakulu ku district kusobola okuba nga bamaintaininga amakubo gano era nga yagambye nti amakubo agamu agali in their state go gakudda birizibwa ne supplementary budget yen naye gwe munange ng'olina district yo nga teri munnyo buzibu gwegenda maaso okozesa akasente sobola okuba nga ate oddaabiriza amakubo togenda mu biseera bya bikujjuko tekyandibadde kirungi kuyingira festive season nga toyina amakubo amabi bwe gatyo nkyali ku nsonga za KCCA abakulu ba KCCA olunaku lw'eggulo nabo bavuddeyo ne batandikawo campaign eya mega city clean up banono nga bategeezezaako nti campaign yene egenderedde okubanga ekirininga ekibuga era nga egenda kubeera effective in this November gwe tuyingira tumubuzaako olunaku lumulwoka tuyingire December era nga bano bategeezezaako nti gwe munange nnyini kizimbe oyina maka okakatibwako okubanga ate gwayina ekizimbe mu kibuga oyina dustbins okulaba nga ate abantu bo tebasaasanya kasasiro mu kibuga Kampala era nga bano bategeezaako nti ekizimbe oba ebizimbe birina okuba nga biri clean bwe binaabanga si biyonjo bagenda kubiggala era nga bano bategeezezaako nti bategeeza bannannyini bizimbe byonna okuba nga muddamu ne mu repaintinga ebizimbe byammwe bisobole okuba nga ate birabikira ddala bulungi nnyo era ne bagamba nti era mulina okuba nga ate muteekako security lights ku bizimbe okuba nga tukola ki tukendeeza ku crime rate eri mu kibuga Kampala era bano ne bawoninga public transport means emmotoka ezisaabaza abantu obutapaakinga ku kkubo oba obutasobola kubanga ate zigenda nga ziteekawo stages okubanga zironda abantu era bano ne bagamba nti emmotoka ezo bwe zinaalabibwako nga ziri mu kukola ekintu bwe kityo zigenda kukwatibwa era ne bawoninga aba boda abagenda nga bateeka stage everywhere era nabo ne babawoninga nagamba nti mwegendereze nnyo abatalina bisaanyizo nammwe abagenda nga mugumbawo stages ezitaliiwo nti nammwe mugenda kubanga ate mukwatibwa ne bawoninga aba kiosks abalina bu kiosks ku makubo nammwe munnange babawonze bagamba bugibweko tebabwetaagawo era nga agamba nti mmwe nammwe abalina anything in the road reserve nammwe babawoninze nti mwejjeewo nga tebannatuukawo ate nammwe ab'amaduuka abateeka ebintu ku display past yo limitations ez'ekkubo oba ku buvalanda bw'amaduuka gammwe nammwe babawoninze nagamba nti mwetereze kubanga ebintu byammwe bagenda kubitwala oba bagenda kubiwamba so no warning yayise temugamba nti ate KCCA teyasoose kuyisa mu warning yo warning bagiyisiza so no munnange kiri eri gwe okulaba nga weekolamu omulimu nammwe ab'amabbaala babagambyeko ne bagamba nti mwekolemu omulimu musobole okuba nga ate mwadihayaringa to the noise emission law otherwise nammwe mugenda kuba nga ate license yammwe revokingibwa oba nga ebagibwako so bannange ndowooza yo ku noise pollution yo bagenda tuyambira ddala so nno byebifaaye mu KCCA so munnange tubanga byetwogeddeko bikwatako weetereze ng'ate abantu bano tebanatuuka mu kitundu ky'okubanga ate bakugumbulula President Museveni olunaku lw'eggulo yavuddeyo n'apromisinga support eri group y'aba investors private investors banono nga bavuddeyo nga bagenda kubanga ate baproducinga bu HIV test kits n'obwa malaria era nga President Museveni yagambye nti this is a very good initiative era nagamba nti abantu nga nga bano beetaaga okuba nga ate basupportingibwa. Kijja tuyambako nnyo okulaba nga nti accessibility ku strips buno obutestinga ejja kuba nga ate nyangungu ate nga ne ssente zikakkanyemuko omuwendo olw'ensonga nti bugenda kuba nga ate babuproducingira wano mu kibuga Kampala. Bano nno bagenda kuba nga batudde wali eri entinda era nga gurupu eno yamanyikiddwako nga eya Microhem Scientifics bategeezeza nti bagenda kubanga basobola okubanga baproducinga 80 million kits per month era nga zino kits zigendereddwamu okulaba nga tukendeeza ku malaria ali mu Uganda wano okusingira ddala ne HIV AIDS. Kinajjukirwa nti abaana ab'obuwala between the ages of 15 and 25, I am not in that bracket. Mwe abasinzibwa okuba nga ate mutambuza HIV ensonga nyingi nnyo abamu bagamba poverty, early marriages, mpozi ne cross generational sex ereetedde okuba nga ate HIV ali waggulu nnyo mu myaka egyo gy'abaana abawala era nga kigambibwa nti mu wiiki emu abaana abawala 5 be bafuna HIV per week. Eyo nno ogwo n'omuwendo guli waggulu nnyo yadde nga Mbarara yo yavuddeyo n'ekwatira ddala akati okuba nga ye emu ku districts okugoberera Kalangala it is taking the second position okuba nga ate ekyasinzeemu HIV transmissions mu Uganda. So nno okuba nga abantu bano bavuddeyo mu kadde ke kano okuba nga ate bagenda kuba nga baproducingira HIV test kits n'eza malaria eziwerera ddala obukadde 8 eyo nno ebeerera ddala nsonga nkulu nnyo ng'amaliriza. Omukyala ayigigi Mrs. Betty Kamya yavuddeyo na orderinga demotion ya head teacher wa Kampala SS wa Old Kampala SS olw'ensonga nti ono yasinganyiddwa nga ayina emivuyo mingi nnyo gy'agenda mu maaso okubanga akola mu office ye ya head teacher. Omukulu ono kigambibwa nti ayina corruption cases nyingi nnyo ezamuleetedde okubanga ate omukyalo ono akola ataking decision eyo y'okubanga bamudemotinga obanga ate bamutransferinga naye omuntu ali corrupt ne bwe bamutransferinga his corrupt tendencies tezijja koma. Demotion ejja kukola bulungi nnyo. I'm just saying, I'm giving my view. Era ng'omukulu ono kigambibwa nti ya operating a budget ya this year 2023 etali approved by board. Board yagano ja approvinga ye n'agenda maaso n'asobola okubanga ate agitambuliza ddala era nga omuli emisango emirala bagamba nti agenda maaso n'alukulotinga abasomesa ng'ate board tebisobose kuba authorizinga. Era omukulu ono kigambibwa nti yavaayo n'apangisa plot y'essomero ya Old Kampala plot 19 n'agipangisa ekitongole kya baasi kino ne kimuweerera ddala obukadde bw'ensimbi 3 era ng'ono kigambibwa nti abantu bano teyabawa contract ne leeta yaabwe yawandiikibwa nga bamusaba okuba nga bamupangisako ettaka lino teyagiddamu. Ekyalowoozesa abantu bali nti osanga teyabawa contract naye bagenda okulaba nga ate abasajja bagumbye ku ttaka nga batandise okukolerako emirimu gyabwe ne bagamba nti head teacher twamuwa ssente naye yatugamba tubankinge ssente nga tukozesa slips ezisasula school fees. So n'abakulu bano bagenda ne bafuna school fees pay slips ne babankinga emiliyoni 3 namba ko ewa head teacher wa Old Kampala. So no ensonga ezimu kwezo zemenye n'endala nyingi nnyo zezaviiriddeko ate omukulu ono okulaba nga ate ba orderinga asobola okuba nga demotingibwa sobola okuba nga ate essomero litambula bulungi nnyo. Ngenda kubanga ate nkomekereza amawulire gange ag'olunaku lwaleero bwe tukomawo tujja kwegattibwako ba lawyers babiri Counsel Aryampa Brighton ne Counsel Tumusiime Kato. Tugenda kubanga twogera nsonga za environment, nsonga za human rights. Who is a human rights defender and who is an environmental defender? Abantu bano bakola ki? What are the challenges that are facing? Human state eri wano eno mu Uganda. Human rights state olowooza eneekyuka ng'abantu boogedde. What should be done? All those and more tugenda kubanga ate tubyogerako. Omumbejja Lilian Weda agenda kubanga ate yaneegattako in the next 1 or 2 minutes. Tuwumula mu katono nnyo tukomawo.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly, because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Ly'Obuntu Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check out at Ly'Obuntu Stores on all our social media platforms. Ly'Obuntu, craft your own footprints.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704 11 1720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings. Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
A very good morning. Bana mwebale nnyo kwekumira ku Mighty Drive nze Omumbeja luwedde Lydia n'olunaku lwakusatu luba lunaku lw'abakyala tusoseewo n'Omumbeja Farida Bikobere nga tuwa Mighty Global News Updates naye nga wendi nnyo kubanga show njikuwera ddala mu bujjuvu era nga mu studios ndi ne bannamateeka babiri kuliko Council Aryampa Bright omukulu ono CEO Youth for Green Communities YGC ajja kuba tubuulira what exactly do they do, what is it all about, ate kunogatako Council Tumusiime Kato munnamateeka ate nga mulwanirizi w'eddembe ly'obuntu kw'ossa n'okutunuulira ensonga z'ebyobufuzi. So balina mu studios olunaku olwaleero show egenda kuba nnyo mu luzungu n'oluganda olutonotono. We are going to be mixing in for to cater for our audience, for our Luganda audience as well. So we are going to be trying very, very hard. One of the councils is not actually well conversant with the Luganda. Naye tujagezaako mpolampola tukitambuze paka ate we tunakiwunzikira naawe ojja kubaako by'otegedde. Ensonga ze tugenda okwogerako zikwatagana ku ddembe ly'obuntu, ku balwanirizi b'eddembe ly'obuntu ate kwossa n'ensonga z'obutonde bw'ensi. So the ensonga ze tulina mu studios ze tugenda okuba nga twogerako olunaku olwaleero. Be part of the discussion ng'ogenda butereevu ku pages zaffe the Alternative Uganda ne Digitalk TV. Drop in your comments. I'll be reading them before we come to the end of the show. So in case you have any question about human rights defenders, human rights violations, human rights activists, drop in the comments. The gentlemen I have in studios will be able to answer all the questions that you will raise. So before I continue, I also want to remind you about our YouTube channel, that is Alternative Uganda. Please subscribe to Tutambulire Awamu. We have a lot of shows. Zawali baddo nyumirwa. So, by subscribing, chibera changu nya okusobola okufuna access to these shows zetulina empitirivu. Bw'obanga otuusa ku YouTube channel yaffe, the first thing kyenkusaba okukola is to subscribe, but also to follow us on other social media platforms, that is Twitter, that is Instagram. Tusobola okubanga ate tukitambuza ekintu kino n'okusobola okumanyisa eggwanga kiki lyetaaga okubanga litegeera. Let me take this opportunity to welcome the two councils I have in studio. Te program tugitandikirawo. I think I'll start on my left. Council Kato Tumusiime.
Thank you so much and good morning our viewers. I'm Kato Tumusiime. I'm a lawyer and a human rights lawyer to be specific. Yeah.
Ebitibwa bikomyawo.
Tugenderawo for now.
Kano kekadde okubimalayo nyinza okubyongera n'ebisobya, but it's okay. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me as
You're
well.
welcome. Thank you for keeping time as well. To you, Council Brighton.
Mumbeja, thank you so much. My name is Aryampa Bright. I'm a lawyer. I deal in environment and human rights. Yeah, but again, I work with a youth group called Youth for Green Communities. We work with young people and local communities to influence environment and natural resource governance that respects human rights and contributes to sustainable development of Uganda. Yeah, so
the environment bit of it also has human rights in it.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
when we talk about human rights, most people only understand right to freedom of speech and expression and all that, all these other rights, but then most of them don't know that the environmental bit of it also has that human rights thing in it. But anyway, let's start from the Youth for Green Communities. What is it all about? It's been long, ever since we hosted you. So that we have viewers who join us every day. Every day we have new viewers, viewers. So let's start with the Youth for Green Communities. What is it all about and what exactly do you do?
Well, I'm not sure if because now I think I've grown, but I think I'm still a youth. I'm not sure. Yeah, but basically it's an organization which is incorporated as a company limited by guarantee, but specifically it's work with young people and see how they can take part in influencing environmental policies. Yeah, because the problem we have is that people don't know that environmental degradation and climate change that everyone is talking about, it has a cumulative effect. And people to bear the burden are the young people. So it's for this organization just to empower young people to start speaking about these issues so that in any case, at later time when problems happen, when they have not spoken up, then they are the ones to blame. Okay. So what we do is just empower young people on on how they can, on civic engagement, capacity building. I also mentioned that we go to communities. Communities, basically what we do is we empower them on their land and environmental rights. Also we do community involvement trainings. So we try to see how we can bring more young people to advocate for social change in terms of sustainable development.
How long has it been into existence?
Youth for Green Community started in, I think, by university. We were still at the university. Colleagues of mine that started it. That was around 2018, but it was registered under the laws of Uganda in 2020. That's when it was incorporated and started legally working in 2020.
Okay.
So I would say 3 years of as a legal entity. Yes.
Okay. So you only are you only in the central, or are you also go to these other regions of the country to also meet the youth that side?
No. It's a national youth organization. We operate everywhere, in all areas that have been affected by environmental issues. So basically we are around youth everywhere in Uganda. So, and we intend to partner with other young people outside Uganda. So that's, I think that's the vision, is that how can young people, because the problems we face are global, some of them are global problems, like climate change, because Uganda has less contribution to the greenhouse emissions.
Okay.
So we want to work with other youth groups. So it's, now we're operating in Uganda, but we have very many partners outside Uganda. Yeah, so we're trying to see how we can expand it, but the whole idea is to bring, to empower, to have young people be the leaders of the clean energy transition in Uganda that are aiming on achieving sustainable development.
So how has been the reception? Have they, have they turned up in big numbers? Have they gotten to really understand their role when it comes to protecting the environment and all that?
Yes, absolutely. Just in Uganda, actually, we've seen young people come up of recent that have been hit by, the state irresponsiveness on how they react to. But we've seen young people trying to ask government to change priorities in terms of sustainable development, to look at these projects that don't harm the environment, that will affect them. So they have been standing against oil projects because serious countries are transitioning to clean energy. And so we're trying to see how we can phase out fossil fuels. So we've had a couple of young people from universities, from communities come up and stand up and say, no, our government, this is the kind of development we want that is going to be sustainable for people who are going to come after us. So it's been, I think on my end, I think it's been a success on my end. Seeing young people come up and also reaching out to them and telling them what is actually what we want as a country, and drive the innovativeness and creativity in the area of sustainable development.
Okay. I want to cross over to Kato Tumusiime, but before I do that, these days the youth, we have that mindset of whenever we called for something, there's at least some come and at least okay per diem or transport refund. How are you able to go about this? Because most of them will come, but then they're like, at least I believe I will get something at the end of the day. Do you give them something?
Youth for Green Communities is a non-profit company, so we don't even have money. Okay. So us, we're just looking for passionate young people who see the bigger picture of their country. So money, no.
We don't give them
money. We don't have money to give. I think if we had, I would certainly give them, but we don't have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Council. I want to go to cross over to Council Kato Tumusiime. I believe you know some little bit of Uganda. When we say these things in English, a lot of people don't understand what we're talking about. But akato nako kona abosobodde okwogera so that we cater for other audience as well. According to you, do you believe that the young people have actually played a role when it comes to defending the environment? Or something is lacking, or there is something that needs to be done?
To me, ngenda kutandika n'ekintu ekisookerako. First of all, abantu abasinga, most of the youth abavubuka, they have little knowledge or no knowledge at all about the environment. Because bw'ovaayo kwogera ku environment, abasinga balaba ku most of the things that are very common. They will look at the lakes, they will look at rivers, they will look at the forest. But they do not also look at the environment where they are living, their compounds, home, and so many other things.
The land.
So, yeah, the land itself, because you cannot talk about environment and ignore land. Land is the first thing actually to talk about when you want to address issues of the environment. Kati ekisokerwako abavubuka abasinga, they don't have that knowledge about the environment. When we talk about environment, what do we mean? Tebabimanyi, their knowledge is just limited. Kwako akatono kamanyiko. Maybe byayiga mu ssomero mu SST. Land, no, lakes, rivers, mountains, kyebayita environment. Kati nga Brighton bwayogedde omulimu gwaffe, because I am also partnering them with the YGC. I work with them on some issues. Omulimu gwaffe nga YGC kyetugezaako okukola is to get these young people that are passionate, try to sensitize them, teach them, ne tubasomesa bwe twogera ku environment tutegeeza ki, and what is our interest in talking about issues that affect the environment. Because much as we want development, enkulaakulana tugyetaaga ng'eggwanga, but mu kuleeta enkulaakulana mu ggwanga waliwo ebintu ebimu bye tulina okuteeka mu consideration mu bwongo waffe. You understand? Nja kuwa ekyokulabirako kya oil gye tulina oil and the regions of the Albertine region. Yes, tujagala oil kuba tumanyi at the end of it all ejja kubako akasente keyingiza mu economy yaffe ng'eggwanga akanaatuyambako. That is wewa tebakabye, because we have seen kanchoge kuba kyange kuba ge mazima. You understand? Wewa tebakabye ne bakateeka in the right youth ne kakola bye kalina okukola, tujjagganyirwamu ng'eggwanga. Naye nga tetunaba kutuuka kufuna kasente ka oil, at least environment yaffe naye erina okuganyirwamu mu bintu bwebityo. You get my point? So that's the reason we are calling out to the youth, because bano abasinga abali mu planning y'eggwanga lino bakaddiye abasinga, they are in their evenings of their life. You get? Who will be affected the most? It is me and you and the other young people.
The young generation.
You understand? So if we don't tackle the issues of the environment and climate change as young people, netubidekera bali abakaddiye tebakyalina kye bafiirwa at the end of it all. It means we shall be the people directly affected by whatever crisis will happen to this climate and the environment. So ensonga lwaki tuvaayo nnyo era essira tulitadde nnyo mu bavubuka baveeyo bategeere amaanyi gaabwe, bategeere obuvunaanyizibwa bwabwe mu kukuuma obutonde bw'ensi. Endowooza kyekyo, obutonde bw'ensi. You understand? And when they get involved, they feel they are forming part of the decisions that will determine our future.
Absolutely.
You understand? When we educate them and sensitize them about the need, why do we call young people to get directly involved in protecting this environment? And at the end of it all, the protection of the environment will affect the climate changes and patterns. Is that in 20 years, 10 years to come, bano abasinga bali mu before ebisalira kw'eggwanga lino bajja kuba tebakyaliwo. Those are laws of nature. Bajja kuba bafudde. The decisions they are making today, if we don't form part of them, we shall be affected. You understand? And the effects will be directed to us, because bali bajja kuba tebakyaliwo. Ne baana ababa bakyaliwo abatonotono bajja kuba tebakyalina kye bafiirwa o tebakyalina kye bataasa. So our call to the young people is get directly involved. If the decision is being made by the government and you feel its impact is negative on the environment, tuveyo tweyogerere. Because at the end of it all, we used to say, Faba kulembeze bencha. Kati enche netukadi, if you don't come and be part of the decision making. Yeah, oyinza banga tonafuna mukisa nti oli member of parliament. Oyinza banga tonafuna mukisa nti oli president. Oyinza banga tonafuna mukisa nti oli minister. Naye when you are informed, at least ngoyina byomanyi on what is happening in this country, use that opportunity. No bukulembeze. Get the opportunity to talk about issues that affect you as an individual. When was I? Ugambe, if the government is planning to do this project, how should it be done so that we can consider development and the protection of the environment? You understand? As a stakeholder, owning ekibeere ekintu kyaffe. Mu bye tunaaba tukola byonna, we know that we are planning for our tomorrow as a young generation.
Kati tubaagazisa tutya because bw'otunuulira abavubuka they are more these days into politics and all that. They want to get to know what is actually happening. Tubaagazisa tutya okuba nti nabo kati they can stand up to fight or defend their environment, because now this is everyone's responsibility. Okijja ku bakulembeze naffe, the young people and the citizens have a role to play.
Ekisookerwako ekisooka kya byonna ffe tuteekamu amaanyi gaffe ng'abantu abamanyi ebizibu oba the effects that will come up with this whole environmental mess if we don't tackle it today. Ne tutuukirira abantu ku bitundu we bava first of all, because okyogeddeko, you know, economy yaffe si ennungi ennyo era mbi etuyisa bifena, but we do what we can and reach to the local communities nga council kyayogedde. Tutuukira ddala ku muntu atandikirwako ku kitundu waava, ne tutandikira ku ttaka lyennyini, how is he using that land, and we sensitize them about the different ways of how that land can be used to bring out productivity but also keep the environment protected and conserved. You understand? Kati bw'omala omuyigiriza ekyo, because we use man-to-man approach. Nze bwe nsinkana Lilian ne munnyonnyola n'ensonga lwaki ndina passion in what I am talking about and conserving the environment and the climate. Nja muteekamu omutima bw'aba ategedde byemunnyonnyola, nja muteekamu omutima ogumwagalisa, because at the end of it all nze nkugirayo kiri ekikulaga its impact. Don't count about 2025, 2026, but we are looking in the future. A future that we hold in our hands. Kati bwe mala okukikunnyonnyola, yes, n'okuddayo waggulu. Kati bwe mala okukikunnyonnyola n'okitegeera n'omugaso ogulimu ekyo, then nze nkuteekamu amaanyi naawe ne nkwagalisa okugituusa ku munno, the neighbor. So we are starting from the grassroots, reach to the local person that is directly affected. Omwagazise naye afune amaanyi oba mulaala eneemuwa ekyongerayo ku mulala. So we build that kind of network from one person to another. At the end of it all, you find the whole community has been sensitized about the protection of the environment. Because they know that at the end of it all, they are stakeholders. If you don't protect your environment, then you will be messed up as you as an individual.
Each one of us has a role to play.
Yes. Kati bwe tukyagalisa omu n'akyusa ku mulala n'akyusa ku mulala, we believe that in a short period of time or a long run, buli omu ajja kuba ategedde the importance of protecting the environment, and that's how we shall achieve and considering the sustainable development of this country.
Thank you so much, Council. I want to go back to Council Brighton. You said you guys are not getting any funding. How do you sustain the YGC?
No, funding, I think the funding, I meant the one to give people to do their duty.
The only funding you get is...
The only funding is just to reach out to people, to facilitation, reach out people, you know, empower them on this and that, like he mentioned. We reach communities, so we do this of training of trainers. We train you to train other people. Yeah, so basically what we've been doing in communities is that we're looking at a specific group of people that are passionate. We train them as trainers. We give them the capacity, so we commonly refer them as community-based monitors and observers. So if there is any issue raising from that certain community that we've reached out or that we have formed that group, they come to us and we see how we can come and try to address the issue. Yeah, so we, like I've said, we're non-profit, so we depend mostly on just like the way you because sometimes we get on our own internal fundraising. If there's an issue and it's urgent, we see how we can help out. Or sometimes our partners, they're good enough, they give us some funds to do these activities that we do. Because at the end of the day is that we are trying to protect nature, which is a compass of of everyone.
Are there any challenges that you've encountered in this journey?
Well, I think challenges are everywhere. Of course, it's been I think resources, because we want to reach as many young people as possible. Is that, you know, when you look at Uganda as a population, is that young people form over 80% of Uganda's population. So, of course, our objective is to reach all the 80, to make sure that actually all the 80, we speak the same language. But you see, that is impossible without resources. Yeah, so we try to reach a few that we can, for them to also reach others, and others reach others. So probably we're going to attain the goal of having all young people empowered.
However much there are challenges, there must be achievements as well. Are there any achievements?
Absolutely. Like I mentioned, the achievement is that we've seen many young people coming up to defend our environment. Yeah. We've seen people coming up to defend the rights of communities, those who are directly affected by certain projects, like you mentioned, the oil projects. We've seen, we had a protest in last year where university students came up and they were supporting the EU resolution that was linked to human rights violations, linked to the eco project and oil projects. They were supporting it, that actually before they even proceed with the construction of the pipeline or other projects, they should address the rights of people that are being displaced, people that are directly affected by those projects. So, and people have been standing up. I think this year is a year where we have had so many young people come up and say, no, this you should stop the proposed pipeline, the controversial proposed pipeline, saying where it is passing, it is a dead end. It is passing in the Albert Graben, which is over 70% of, it is the hotspot of over 70% of Uganda's protected areas. It is passing shores of Lake Victoria, which is shared by so many countries. Because so many countries, people may think that Victoria is shared by Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. No. You're looking at Kenya, it is a source of the Nile that goes up to Egypt.
But Nema told us it's not going to pass through Lake Victoria. It's going to be passing.
It is just a few meters.
A few meters. You know what? You see that. One of the things that we've been doing, even to come up with this work, the empowerment work that we're doing, is that we have done a lot of case studies. We've gone to what happened to, you go to Ecuador, what happened to the Amazon forest as well, then you go to Nigeria, those oil-affected communities, what they're going through. These are same things that they were told. That's the same thing that they were told. That's the same thing that they were told. But now in Uganda, it's a bit, I think, very bad, is that because you look at the issues that we have as a country, and then you look at also NEMA as a body, because you see we have cases in the national courts, in the East African Court of Justice. I think even as we speak now, there's a case ongoing challenging the project because of the environmental issues. So now
the oil project?
Yes, the oil project.
Okay.
We have cases in international courts. They're all challenging the project. And now, and those cases have not been dismissed, by the way, because if the cases hold no merit, they are usually dismissed, which means that whatever they are being interpreted in those courts, they're actually there. We have, and of course, one I think at Lenga project, they are challenging the environmental social impact assessment, which is supposed to be approved by NEMA.
And you are against the economic growth of the country.
You see, economic growth.
Doing this?
No, actually, no. The idea is that what kind of development as Uganda, what kind of development do we need? Because if it's one thing to come and empower someone, but for me, I'm telling you what's actually going to happen. But I'm not going to force you to take it. We have very many sectors that we can invest in money. Uganda has been in existence without oil.
Not that we're going to get something out of it.
Something out of it.
Hey, we're going to get money out of it. That is what most of us Ugandans are.
Then what happened to the other sectors? And still, okay, getting something, how are you going to benefit? Because I'm looking, okay, right now as we speak, since the project started in 2006, I think that's when the exploration started in 2006. So from that time, you tell me how many Ugandans have the skills to work in the oil sector? How many Ugandan companies were given contracts to do road construction in Uganda? None. Look at the shares in the oil sector. Uganda has 15%, but you're hosting all those projects. You're hosting all those, which means that
we have 15%, and Tanzania also has 15%.
Tanzania also has 15%, but you're the host. Which means that for you, you're going to, even if you, okay, let me say you have gotten your 15%, but you're going to bear the burden of the implications that come with the oil project. Your communities are being displaced. Under the law, you're not compensating them. the pipeline is passing in areas that is bringing for you foreign income, because it's on record tourism is the biggest foreign exchange earner for Uganda. But you have because the oil rigs in Maction Falls National Park. Okay. That is a national park that is bringing so many tourists. That's where we have oil rigs, and then you're looking where the pipeline is passing. It is affecting the fishery sector because of it is in Lake Albert. It is along the Victoria Basin. So is that you're looking at that 15%, but you're not considering the other sectors that have actually been feeding you. Because when you take away my land, actually the only issue also, one of the biggest issues has also been land. When you take away my land, food security is being affected. Now, of course, I'm not going to go into the history of hunger and you know what is really happening, because you know when we go into land and land acquisition and compensation, that's a different story. Because if I'm going to the direction, I'm going to tell that up to now people who are displaced in 2012 are still in court for fair and compensation, which is well underlined into our laws, but the laws were ignored in that process. So that is under condition where they are living. Should have a chance to go there. I think Kato has gone there. He knows how people are. You know, you're living, you have your land, and know you can grow agriculture, and then you put in one land. So the homestead is just a homestead. It's just more like a camp, I would say. Yeah. Okay. There's a kitchen there. There's a toilet here. There's a house here. Then there's just a few miles. Then there's a few distance. There's another house there. Same thing. That is also looking long-term problems. You see diseases coming anytime. So that is, you know, and you're changing people's way of living. So the whole idea of, I think when you consider the problem, when you weigh the problems and the 15%, it will be mad for me to actually.
So for you, you're not seeing anything good in this.
Actually, to add on what the council is saying, Lydia, to want to close until we are against development. Our issue is not against development. Actually, the twin of government genda maso no drilling oil, no steamer but we are saying, much as you want that oil, you get. But there are best ways to consider to get that oil than using these kind of approaches that put.
I think the biggest problem government has is that you guys are not providing alternatives.
No, we are providing alternatives. You see, Lillian, what we have into government, first of all, and I have always talked about it so many times. You know, government in a whole ministry are planning. You understand? And I hope before they actually got to venture into this business, but so can never call a case studies. What is its impact? Gaba koseza batya nga mawanga differently. And we are saying mukifo kyokufuna for example that East African oil crude pipeline, the ECO, kujidusa kuva Albertine region mpaka jegenda okutuuka etanga. Why can't we build refineries here in Uganda and save this kind of oil environment? To jeko risky zeyo pipeline okuita in the national parks, to jeko eyokuita alongside the Lake Victoria, because we are all putting now the rest of the countries that benefit from Lake Victoria, for example, at risk. You can imagine and consider effects where that pipeline bursts. Eyabise amafuta gaja kuyika mu mazzi mu nyanja. You see the losses we are going to make. The animals around there will also have to die. The fish itself will die. The water that these countries that benefit from Lake Victoria, Twala, River Nile, because in Aijako Victoria, all these countries will be affected. The people that share that water, you get, the animals that take that water will be affected. Do you see the dangers now that we are talking about?
Hold it there, Council. Let's go in for a very short commercial break. When we return, the conversation continues about environment, environmental rights, human rights. So be part of the discussion. Go take a comment yomo kupedia for the Alternative Uganda and Digitalk TV and Jakubanga and this manga shete na bakubanga ewunzikwa. So in case you have anything to say about that, I will be reading the comments in our second hour. So let's break for a minute. We'll be right back.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church,
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanye now, do you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Kulikayo nnyo mukuumulamu ko The Mighty Drive, ye program gyogenda maaso n'okubanga olaba nze omumbejja Ly'Obuntu ne mbaaniriza nnyo mwe abakatwegatako tuli mu ssaawa yaffe ey'okubiri era nga twogera ku nsonga ezikwatagana ku kukuuma obutonde bw'ensi okunukusa n'eddembe ly'obuntu. So we tuli mu kutambulira era nga mu studio zininamu bannamateeka babiri, munnamateeka Kato Tumusiime ne munnamateeka Aryampa Bright, bwe tugenda maaso n'okubanga tumulungula ensonga zino. Mu ssaawa yaffe esoose twogedde ku nsonga eya Youth for Green Communities era nga Council Aryampa Bright ne Council Kato Tumusiime bongedde okugirambululako kiki kye bakola, ensonga eri nnyo ku bavubuka okulaba nti nabo bakola oba batekinga lead bwe kituuka ku kulwanira obutonde bw'ensi n'okubukuuma era nga message bagenze bagitambuza eri abavubuka mu bitundu by'eggwanga eby'enjawulo. So tuli mu ssaawa yaffe ey'okubiri. Gwe alina ekibuuzo kyonna ky'oteesa oba ky'owabula agenda butereevu ku pages zaffe The Alternative Uganda ne Digitalk TV. Teekayo ky'obuuza, teekayo endowooza yo mu comment section, nja kubanga ate nzisoma nga sho tennaba kubanga ewunzikibwa. Tukyatambula ffenna okutoka ku ssaawa 4 ez'akalasamayanzi. Tulina bingi bitugenda okwogerako mu ssaawa yaffe ey'okubiri. Ensonga z'eddembe ly'obuntu wano mu Uganda tuzoogerako, but abantu abasinga balina bo we bakoma okubanga bazitegeera. Abamu balowooza bwe twogera ku ddembe ly'obuntu twogera ku bintu ebiri awo ebitonotono bo bye bamanyi, right to food, right to shelter, right to clothing, right to this. So bingi bwe kituuka ku nsonga za environment namwo mulimu that aspect of human rights. So bye tuli mu kwogerako era nga bwe nkugambye teekayo endowooza yo, nja kubanga nzisoma ne likinga pages zaffe ne ku YouTube ato subscribing tusobole okubanga tutambulira wamu. Enkuba ekedde okutonnya, kansuubire nti ovudde mu bikunta by'okugenda okubanga okola obanga onoonya ekigulira magala eddiba. Enkuba eno buli bwetonnya nnyingi bweti wano mu kibuga Kampala, emyala gijjula, amakubo agamu ne gasalibwako, ojja kwesanga nti kati jaamu mungi. Naye ng'ensonga gye twogerako nsonga ya butonde bwansi, ensonga ya kulaba nti obutonde bw'ensi bukuumibwa. Abantu abazimba mu swamps amazzi gye gakuŋŋaaniranga kakati tegakyalina we gakuŋŋaanira, kyova olaba nga gamaliriza ganjadde mu makubo. But before we went for the break, Council Kato yabadde akyatuteera mu light ku nsonga naye ECOP butya bwe tugenda okosebwa, but then otunya percentage gye tuli mu kufuna ng'eggwanga ate si eri awo esanyuse nnyo ng'amafuta gali mu nsi yaffe. Take it on, Council.
Yeah, thank you. Ensonga yange ebadde nti ffe bye tukola tugezako okuwabula government instead.
Yeah.
Tugiwabule biki byerina okukola ate erina okubikola etya. we are giving alternatives mu kifo ky'okuzimba eyo pipeline kuva Malbatain region amafuta we bagenda ogasima kugitwala mpaka Tanga. How many kilometers are there? And the same resources could be used to build a refinery.
In Uganda, we don't have that money.
Ate kati bani abagenda oteka message.
That's why we are getting the 15%. No, in a way sanga I'm forgetting bani abali mukufuna the 62%.
It's total.
Total is getting 62% and then Sinok has just 8%. Yes. So we don't have those resources. Maybe that's why bali mukutuya.
Maybe Chala is that one thing natural. What idea oil refinery? So what abantu baba displacing mu Kabale have been resettled in Chakaboga. That's all. And believe me is that the action against that there is from even the people was not really that much as it is for ECOP. Because oil refinery refining your resource from here probably it could be an option. It could be an option.
Could be an option.
But is that Uganda has to learn the potential that we have now. We have potentials in renewable energy. We have a lot of if we invest our money in renewable energy, you're looking at those sustainable income generating activities. We can start investing money in solar energy. We can start producing
so many.
Because when you go to Europe, you understand that actually now they are running out from these fuel cars. They're using electric cars. No, because you see, a past wrong does not correct a current wrong. Is that it happened because they were ignorant about what would happen. But you see, the world has changed now. Is that we are hit by climate change. People are dying. People are losing lives. That's how sensitive that the climate change is. So now they are paying for that. Because you see, African countries that initially were not, they are trying to get money they are trying to get funding for adaptation. They're getting a lot of money per Paris Agreement that was signed, which Uganda is a party to in 2016. Is that they are paying for that. But believe me, if Uganda starts, starts producing oil, and then they tell you to pay for the carbon emissions that you're releasing. This is a country which has a debt of 7 trillion now. That's the country we're talking about. Okay. Is that we don't have first even the governance issue. You see, this oil sector it's big. They have a lot of issues, even the governance issue. Because we had when we started having debates of oil, at the time they called for a resolution to revise the production sharing agreement. The parliament refused. It was already passed.
Did they even look at that?
No, they didn't debate. Now we have oil agreements that were signed on behalf of Ugandans, which are supposed to be in the public domain. I've looked for those agreements. Even now I'm asking on record. I'm asking if there's anyone who knows the host agreement. Tariff agreement, those agreements, if they have it, I would love to access them because
the people who have managed to get to see those documents.
No one.
You go in without a phone. You're not allowed to take photos. You're not allowed to do anything. You just read from there and then go. You're not even allowed to go with a notebook to note anything. But
we should know that we are stakeholders.
So if the resources to help Ugandans, why are things done in secrecy? That is also is that even if you want me to support the oil production in Uganda because of the benefit, because I've seen also countries develop from exploitation of oil, but if convince me that actually this resources for Ugandans, why are you doing it in secret? That's a governance issue. Is that a few people and by the way, people are already eating from oil money. By the way, it's also on record.
Yeah,
we've had handshakes. We've had handshakes where lawyers were paid to represent the country on I think it was on royalties. Yes. They went to won a case, and when they came to Uganda, they gave them the 6 billion. Go and take for winning. You've been paid because to do the work, and then also paid for doing the work that you were paid to do.
They did it so well. They did it so well, according to
people are already paid. There's a time I think it's around 2010. The minister by then. It was, I think even at this time, I think he was also involved. They were supposed to be investigated, but how it disappeared, that's the corruption that
disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Council, bine bibiri, bisobola bityo okutambulira awamu. Enkulaakulana y'eggwanga n'okuuma obutonde bw'ensi because kati abamu bakitulolya okuba nti however much twagala okulaakulana at least waliwo ekimu ekiyinza okufa ebibiri bino bisobola otambulira awamu era bitambula bitya
kikkiriza nti ekimu okubeerawo enkulaakulana okubeerawo then environment must be destroyed. No, the two can coexist. So olufuna enkulaakulana ng'eggwanga ate n'obutonde bw'ensi nawe ne tubuteeka mu nkola. Omanyi, before you do the activities on the land, there is what we normally call the environmental impact assessment. You see, you assess the impacts. And simanyi how to change impacts in Uganda. Simanyi bulungi. But you must assess the impacts of your activities. Byogenda okukola, emirimu gy'ogenda okukola. Biki ebigenda ovaamu. Because kubaako ebirungi, kubaako ebibi. And when you find out mboinako ebibi, then you also put mitigating factors. You get my point? Yes, yes. Because these issues that we raise on a daily basis, we are not the first people to raise them. So many people have raised them. But the role of the government now should be coming up and explaining how they are going to mitigate such factors. Toward the example, that oil pipeline again okuyita national parks near the lake shores and the rest. Those are sensitive areas that we should be considering. So we are giving an example of a bursting of that pipeline and how much it will affect the environment and its waters and the people of Uganda. Because there are people that are living near the oil pipeline. You understand? So the role of the government should be coming up and telling us, yes, you have assessed that impact. And now this is how we are going to mitigate it. Actually, we are looking for solutions, but Uganda, they are going to actually happen because you cannot ascertain how long it will be, in how many years or what. But there is that possibility that oil pipelines burst because it has happened everywhere in other countries. You understand? So the role of the government should be coming us and telling us, this is the mitigating factor that we have raised. And that impact assessment, environmental impact assessment, I don't know whether it was passed by NEMA itself, because it is the same government just sleeping in the same bed. It is usually these days vajita order from above. Waliwo akubye esimu n'agamba kino kirina okukolebwa bwe kiti ne bwe kiti. So issues that affect development, issues that affect the environment, should be issues that involve each and everybody of us. Si bintu byakukolera eyo mu nkukutu. Because bw'oba kyokola ng'okikakasa nti kituufu, simanyi lwaki oba olina okusooka kwekweka weekwekerere olyoke okikole. And it is benefiting all of us. Kye tugamba eggwanga lino n'abalikulembera kiri nti our role is to highlight issues that we see, the possibility negative impacts that will come up from this project. Its role should be now answering to us and giving us solutions that they have prepared to mitigate such kind of effects when they come or before they can even come. That's what we only need from them. Because baterawo enkola engeri gye bagenda okumalamu ebizibu ebinajja ne that oil pipeline, then we have no problem with it. As long as they are feasible, as long as they are practical, as long as they are achievable. These are the only things we need from them. But the problem they don't want to answer.
Which is impossible.
You see, the problem with them, Lillian, n'abatulaba kiri kimu. Bw'ovaayo n'oyogera ensonga bwe zityo, the next day you will see an arrest being done. And arrests have not solved the problems. Because if my issue is about how you are going to solve the impacts that come along with this kind of a project, for example, ECO, then your role should be answering me and giving me answers how the problems will be solved, not arresting me. Because when you arrest me today, tomorrow, and you have not resolved my issues, then I will come on the same issue. You get? That's the only problem we are facing with this country. The leaders and the stakeholders in the oil pipeline and the governance of this country don't want to face the realities, don't want to answer the issues that are raised by the people. The problem is they want to use force on each and everything. And good enough, most of the youth here and the students have been sensitized because they have, some of them have reached the project affected areas. They have seen what people are going through. They have seen the suffering there. You know, living in your normal lifestyle and you are now taken to a place, it's almost a camp. Balinga babera mu camp. Because you look at how the setup of these different communities, Ngeri gy'erimu, and you wonder whether the leaders of this country are considerate in resettling these people, or they just did it for the sake of doing it. Ekirala, we are asking issues that are about human rights and freedoms for the people. Because our rules are very clear. Bitunyonyola bulungi what should be done if the government or any other person is interested in getting your land. By no compensating, not just mere compensation, but it must be adequate and timely. Brighton akugambye how people were misplaced in 2012, but some of them are still in court on the issues of compensation. You get? And you look at the justice system that we have in this country as well. Because of the effect of non-separation of powers that we face at the country and governance issues, one person wants to sit in his house, state house, and makes a call on what should be done on a certain case. Okay, those are the challenges that we are facing. But if all those are settled and corrected, then you have no problem with the projects going on. You have no problem.
A country like
we need answers.
We have resources as well,
but when we are considering
mwetujjaka sente mwetusuubira okujjaka sente bwetunulira gold kati amafuta and all that ate gati gali amawanga gemuwaako examples go gakulaakulana nga gakulaakulanidde ku zino ku mafuta bwe byamala okutuukawo ebibi, and that's when they're like amawanga agasigadde tebukola.
Anti kati ekyo kyantwadde ekyokuyiga nti naffe engeri gye twagala okubeera mu projects bwezito n'okusima amafuta tulabire ku ebyo byatuukawo in those countries that have had bad experiences of what comes out from oil exploration. You understand? So that we also prepare ourselves and have solutions on how can we avoid the problems that affected, for example, Nigeria, Ecuador and the rest cannot affect our people here.
The problems that affected those countries,
yes, they were
governance
or general governance issues and environmental issues.
Okay. Maybe
just give us a small comment on that issue, because I don't really want to say that those Western countries or whatever countries developed because of fossil fuels. China has one of the strongest economy, if not the strongest as we speak now. But check, they just do the oil construction outside their country in Uganda, but they're so much investing in renewables. Dubai, yes. People may argue that they might develop because of the oil that they used to produce or that they are producing, but Dubai is developing much because of tourism. So it could be an area where the government can invest in a lot of money. Councillor Kato mentioned a while back that many concerns are raising, and we need answers. You see, you cannot give answers that you don't have. That is also, you can't give answers because the government doesn't have answers when you're doing things in secrecy. And still, also, it's a big argument because you look at Ugandan system and maybe even the system of governance of other countries that are producing oil. Look at Uganda system, the corruption that we have, the greedy politicians that we have, people who are really making decisions, because institutions in Uganda is that it's a matter of now common knowledge that we don't have systems in Uganda. Like he said, it's about who's making the call, who's making the last word.
Yeah.
So you have to be considerate of that. Is that even if you want to have a very good system that can manage the oil resource in Uganda, it is impossible because of our institutions. Because like I mentioned, if the resource was to be refined, in Uganda, I think the resistance was actually low. Yes. But now the focus shifted from the oil refinery. Now the focus is on ECOP. ECOP is that they are taking crude from Uganda to the port. I know it's so absurd that when you look at like all the pipelines in Africa, they are leaving Africa, going somewhere else. And no, it is so absurd that our leaders cannot see that. They cannot see that. And at the end of the day, is that when we let this happen, we who are hosting those pipelines are the ones suffer, not the people that are taking the crude oil.
Is that we can't see that? I don't know why you can't see that. Because I think this is something that you can see and say, why? And you ask questions. You ask yourself, why do all the pipelines leave Africa? Why? Why? That's a question actually that even before you start commissioning these kind of projects.
Okay.
You ask that question. Is that at the end of the day that you're not actually gaining. It's the people that are gaining. And you know the pipeline is even the money that is being there's a lot of loans in this. And who's going to pay that money?
Me and you.
But you have
no,
because at the end of the day is that these companies have a track record of profit making. Total, Total, they're insane. It's a very big company.
Yes.
Is that I'm very sure that even what the development they've made already is that they can even offset it anywhere. They can say that no, actually we have chosen to. But now the problem is that now the Chinese, they don't want to do fossil fuels in their country, but they want to come to Africa and do it. Look at all the projects of Chinese and the issues they're facing. I went to Karuma. To be a topic of another day.
Thank you so much, Council. I want us to cross over to the human rights topic. But before I do that, Council, there are allegations that Gana Mawanga agakoleddwa ganagwadda bwe galemererwa okuyimiriza pipeline eno ne geekweka mu nsonga ya human rights violations okwonoona obutonde bwe.
Naye kati naye badde njagala kiddamu.
Is it true according to you?
Kati Lilian, anyway, ndowooza omuntu avaayo n'aleeta such kind of an argument aba talina byakoogera. Like Council Brighton told you, the leaders in this don't have answers to give. Kati baba balina okuteekako ebyekwaso nga bingi. Kati ensonga za human rights gana amawanga ziga raising njagala nzikuddiremu. Right to own property, adequate compensation, resettlement plans. If you resettle people, they must access at least services. You understand? Do they have services? We have people that were displaced ebyalonga bisatu, and they're in a place where they don't even have a hospital, a main hospital. We were in that district, I forgotten the name, where they resettled some people. There is a police station bigger than the hospital there. The story is on ground. The story is on ground. What were you for like, I think a week. We spent there like a week. But a week yonna gye twamala in that area. Tetwalaba yadde omusirikale yadde omulema ng'atuddeawo. Even a uniform itself. Kugisanga working nga bagiwanise mu office. There are people that are staying in those houses. Batugamba kimu oba OC oba DPC w'ekyo ekitundu agikozesa kufunamu rent ayinamu abapangisa. So all these police officers, they said no, bano bapangisa basasula akulira polisi ya wano. Hane tubuuza ye akulira polisi yawo ali wano. Batugamba yabeera Kampala atali ku nnaku ya wano. You get? So there are issues that people want to create excuses about.
Yes.
Ensonga zonna ze ba raising about human rights are practical ate ku ground wezi. Ne bwotuuka eri communities abantu bajja kunyonyola bokka na bokka nga gwe tolina nakyo babuziza. Because they will tell you, you also look at them and see that there is something that is not going on right. Instead of giving answers to the same problems of human rights and respect them, because these are provisions of our laws. The Constitution is clear about what human rights are, how they should be protected, and what should be done. People who go to court even to have their rights enforced, their cases have taken years and years. Imagine somebody who was displaced in 2012, after 11 years. You understand? At the end of it all, they should compensate him adequately. Do you know how much loss that person has made? Every day is just making expenses. You understand? And you look at the pain of that person. This is a person who has children who need to go to school, who need treatment, who need all other facilities and services like any other person. So because they believe in the rule of law, they believe in the protection of human rights. Human rights are not only limited to Uganda. They are universal and they must be respected at whatever cost. So why don't you address the issues of human rights? Muveyo mutwe answer. Washi temugoberera amateeka gaffe kyegogera kukuuma eddembe ly'obuntu. You understand? Really, tebalina answers like cancer said. That's the only problem. So they are just trying to create excuses, and we normally call that they are looking for what we call damage control.
Okay, thank you so much, Council. It's still a mighty drive. Dakika ziri kati 25 zezakata ko sawa esatu ez'amakya g'olunaku olwaleero. Mighty drive ya program gyogenda maaso n'okuba ng'olaba nze omumbe Jaluwedde Lilian ndi ne bannamateeka babiri, munnamateeka omu ye Aryampa Bright, owokubiri ye munnamateeka Kato Tumusiime. Twogera ku nsonga za ddembe lya buntu, ensonga zikwatagana ku butonde bw'ensi bwe tutambulidde nnyo okusinga olunaku olwaleero, era nga bwe zinaawerera ssaawa 4 tujja kubanga ensonga ezisinga tuzikoonyeeko naawe ng'olinako bingi by'otegedde. Nsaba okozesa comment section gw'alina ekibuuzo, alina kyona kyowabula oba kyoteesa ku nsonga gye tulina mu ddiiro olunaku olwaleero, giteekeyo. Tujja kubanga nzisoma nga sho tetunaba kubanga tugiwunzika. Twogera ku ddembe ly'obuntu, twogera kuno nakuli, but it seems in Uganda something to do with human rights has been handled in a different manner. Questions actually arise. Why? We talk about human rights every time. Human rights, they are violating our rights, they are doing this and that. And the question is, why? Have we not gotten to understand the human rights thing, or just the twagala bwaga as well?
Well, that is quite a big question. And because you're looking at saying that we're not ready, we have not understood human rights. I mean, this is a country that recently closed the UN Office on Human Rights in Uganda, saying that now we have the Uganda Human Rights Commission that can handle human rights issues. But every day you see human rights violations, and I think I'll just maybe focus on the recent arrests of activists.
Yes,
we have laws. That that protect, that grants everyone to defend anyone's rights. Because most of these people have been arrested basically defending the rights of other people, not actually even their own rights. And we have laws starting from national objective, I think 5 that recognizes the independence of civil society organizations, and also looking at Article 38 of the Constitution, I think Clause 2, that provides for civic rights, where of Ugandans, where they have a right to do peaceful activities to influence policies. Yeah, so you see is that even just go to, I think the whole idea comes from Article 50 of the Constitution, where it says that a person or group can institute an action to defend a right of one person or also other people. So this is all this is envisaged in our Constitution, that I can defend your rights, Kato can defend your rights, you can defend my rights. That's the idea. But now but you see, this has been we've seen violations of human rights. You come out to speak on the rights, on your rights that are being infringed, and then what you receive from the security agencies, it's really insane. So now I think this takes me back to your question, that I think we understand the aspect of human rights. As he said, it's a universal issue. But now the enforcers, I would say probably they do it deliberately, intentionally, or they don't know. Because still, we can also argue that we have police officers who actually don't even know how they're supposed to enforce these rights.
Yeah.
So this it's an argument of two ways. They're either doing it deliberately, or we have officers who just don't want to respect the law.
Okay. Thank you so much, Council. Let me cross over to Council Kato Tumusiime on the same issue of human rights. Ngabogambe oli munnamateeka owa aranira eddembe ly'obuntu okusinga amaanyi wogatadde. Yes. One would wonder why we still have issues to do with human rights violations in Uganda. Nga ensonga eno ebaddewo for some good years. Some good years. President Museveni yayogerako omulundi gumu n'agamba nti teetaaga muwabula nnyo ku nsonga z'eddembe ly'obuntu. Yeah.
Biri bintu nga bibiri tutandikirwako first of all is sigamba nti bano abakwasisa ebyamateeka tebagamanyi. Some of them actually know. But the problem comes in that they have decided to choose on what to prioritize and what not to prioritize. Basazeewo bo bakola bye baagala. Amateeka bagamanyi ne baba tebagamanyi, at least waliwo abagambako nti kino bw'okikola kimenya amateeka kino tekimenya amateeka kino. At least that one I know. Because most of these enforcers aba police, for example, bayina eteeka eribafuga nga police. The Police Act. Police Act eyina ebintu ebimu byeteekako essira. Issues concerning arrests. Even the constitution is clear about how an arrest should be done. Bw'ojja kukwata Kato, there are issues you must put in consideration. Ate kyemanyi bakimanyi because most of them have been in police for years and years. Bamazemu emyaka mingi. Experience yokka yandibadde bawe ekyokukola. Nti bw'ojja oze kunkwata oli mu poliisi oba oli w'amagye, ekisookerwako weeyanjule nze gundi ne gundi. Nze ndi Kato ndi mu poliisi, ku poliisi y'e Kabalagala for example. Ndina arrest warrant yakukwata lwa musango ABCD. Okitegeera? Bamala okukunnyonnyola gwe ng'omuntu. Then it's now up to you to either surrender, kati ndi wano omuntu baba baagala kukusiba mpingo bakuteekeko. Oba oli willing mutambule pola paka ku police. But before they can even come to arrest me, the rules are clear in the Police Act. That's first summon me. Banze bwe bampandikira summons, nja kugendayo nkole statement to police. It doesn't need to bring a whole truck of 20 people. Kujja kukwata only one person Kato. And why are they arresting Kato? Mbavuddeyo nayogera ku nsonga eziruma abana Uganda. Ensonga z'eddembe ly'obuntu. You get? That's one. Nti amateeka gamu bagamanyi naye basazeewo okugaleka. Tebagala gagoberera. Bakola bye baagala. You understand? Because some of these people have been maybe promised promotions. Bw'obakwata obulungi tugenda kuwa obwa DPC. You get? Ate kati ono ye mupoliisi private aluddeawo for over like 10 years. Asula muka mama ingia poeka. Buno bugundi bupoti buyunipoti. Mwasula naye bamugambye kati tugenda kuwa obwa DPC. At least ojja kufuna that kind of treatment esingako kuba. So I know kozesa amaanyi to impress bakama be. Barali nti police gundi ne gundi akola bulungi. Ekyokubiri kiri nti abapoliisi abamu bafuna obusungu bwabwe kuva mu maka gaabwe, oba mu byalo byabwe oba mu family zaabwe ne bagala buteeka ku nze oba ku activists omulala. Because activists have been facing the wrath of these police officers. Najja nakumalirako obusungu and you ask yourself, what surely have I done to this police officer? Obusungu bwe yajje ewaka ewe mpozi teyaleseeyo kyakulya naye akulaba ku street okutte ekipande and your placard is clear on what message you're asking for. Nakukwata and the way they treat these activists is so bad. Olwokuba ayina ebizibu byaleseewe ayagala bikumalirako kuba gwakulaba nga atayina ebyokukola oba ndowooza. Some of them use that kind of approach. Ebizibu byafuna ng'omuntu agala biteeka ku ggwe. Because yakolaba nga ali obulungi. Because even lawyers have faced it. Otuuka ne ku police naye kansi obadde ki? Ozokuse kati oli wano okunyombesa. You get? And you're asking issues that are acceptable under the laws. Ekyokusatu kangambe nti we have the issue of governance. Issue of governance nti buli omu muka office kaina ne LC1 bwomutuuka ko ayagala kulaga nti alina kyakola ate amaanyi gege gasalawo. You get? Nti ojja kutuuka ku police eyakuta omuntu katugambe bamukwasiza CID naye nga CID tanawo kusalawo oba kuteeka kuwa bondi ogende waka alina okusooka yeebuzeko ku munaamusingako ne munne abuze ku munne ne munne abuze ku munne until at the end of it all even ne baba bamaze okusayiningira bond papers waliwo esimu omuntu omu gyayinza okukuba ne babisazamu byonna and you go to zero because you have faced it so many times. Ekirala nti because we have that governance issues, the twinner accountability issues, nobody is accountable to who and who. Buli omu akola what he feels fits in his line of duty. You understand that? Kuba tulina kyogenda mukola. That's what they have. Katunzo nonkola ki. Because most of them, you look at the appointment policy they went through. Bamukubira bukubizi na simu ngaliye we mukyalo jangu Mr Brighton jangu encha kuvana encha gwe DPC au CPS bagenda okukulira Kampala. Some of them I think ndowooza twandifunye ne policy nti after every like 2 years we do refresher courses for these officers, and refresher courses should include teaching them what the laws talk about, arrests talk about, how to treat people. Kumanga nze ne bwonkwata nga ndi suspect at that time, I have my own rights that you should be knowing. It should be a must that you must know because you are an enforcer of the laws. Kati gwe bw'oba tobimanyi, that's why you got even police ne bakucharging omusango nga it was outlawed so many years ago. Naye nga gwe bakucharginze gwe bagala kuvunaana. Kati bw'oba kwekyo, you look at also the issue of the state attorneys. Because abamu, if somebody who is a complainant has the capacity, the financial muscle, you find a state attorney sanctioning a file that even has no statement on record. You get?
Yeah.
But they sanction it, a person is taken to court and remanded because they cannot start the hearing of the case because the investigation are still going on. And these issues, some of them actually don't even require investigation. From the look of the things, it is clear that there is a case or there is no case. Because if our laws and our constitution gives us the mandate and the right to demonstrate, as long as it is a peaceful demonstration, we have that right. So why do you arrest me and we want to charge me inciting violence? You want to charge me these common cases of public nuisance?
No, don't you think abamu right you?
I don't
right to demonstration. Don't you think abamu bakisussa? Ne mamaliriza nga waliwo kuubagana wakati waabwe n'abakuuma ddembe. Abamu ne babasosonkereza, you've seen scenarios where aba activists abamu babakuba n'amayinja.
Those are few scenarios, Lillian.
But again, you see that we've had cases, and we do have a precedent of certain cases, because most of the cases against activists have been dismissed. The state has no evidence. They have totally failed to produce evidence in court. Is that me? I don't know how I incite how I incite violence by holding a placard saying that.
And the placard is saying respect the human rights of the people that are affected in the oil Albertine region. That's the simple message.
The placard is saying protect Bugoma Forest. Protect the rights of...
And we've also seen scenarios where activists or what people demonstrating, okay, nga either bali mukuwanyisiganya n'abakuuma ddembe abamba basindika amayinja abala n'olabanga bakola ebintu ebiteetaagisa, and then bwe babagambako bekweka mu kali aka right to demonstrate nina eddembe lyange okulaga obutali mumativu and all that.
Eba ekyuse eba tekyali peaceful demonstration, and that is in a few scenarios, mostly when they are political in nature. That's when you see crashes, but no bakubagana n'aba police. But in these cases that we are talking about, and most of them, these are peaceful demonstrations. People come, hold their placards with their message, and they are marching gently. And you see police coming to use tear gas against these peaceful people. And because ndowooza wambonye genyindo nogiyigiriza that's where the activists also take that action bagamba naye nga tujogeddwa
self-defense
leka naffe twerwaneko, because if a policeman is hitting you with his gun or a baton, abamu they decide to come and defend themselves.
Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, yevayo warojo juzi nayogera still about the human rights thing nagamba nti yetajja kutuula butuuzi ng'alaba eddembe ly'obuntu lityoboolwa. Should we say that there is no will when it comes to protecting these human rights?
Yes, we lack a very big point on the political will. Call it the opposition, call it the ruling government. You understand? I will give an example. Ngeno protest in Parliament. which is actually good, but me, I find it not the right approach that you would have used. Because the arrest says, naked and says, this year. Tomorrow, next month. This time, this year, they actually started way back, 2019, 18, 20, 21. That's where it was too massive.
Before even, because we've had
before, but we chaka, and it came to the knowledge of each and everybody that kidnaps happening 2020, 2021. Now, but to them, president. You get? But we have had parliament, and these are people that make oath. Ekirayiro kye bakola nga bagenda kulayira okubeera ba member of parliament is to protect the constitution of this government, of this country, Uganda. What does the constitution talk about the protection of human rights? You get? Yeah. Ndowooza abamu bakikola kutwejjako. Kutwejjako. Sina kyakola ekirayiro kyo kankikube. N'ekirayiro kyakola tamanyi which constitution is going to protect biki ebigirimu. You get? Yeah. Because you have seen people, even omukulembeze n'avaayo ne ku national TV n'agamba waffe gwa kujjako Mwami Museveni, as if that's the problem we are facing generally. You get? They don't even know that in their mandate, the first thing they would have done as that parliament was to advocate for the protection and adherence to the rule of law. Protect the constitution itself. What does it say about protection of human rights? What do you have to do when somebody's rights are violated? Nti bachitutte too political because they are looking for I should say sympathy. Me, that's my opinion, by the way. They are looking for sympathy. Nti bajagamba tetugenda genda plenary meeting sittings za parliament, but they will attend the committee meetings because there is some allowance. Ne trips nazo bazagala because tebagala kuva ku nyonyi. They want to be beneficiaries of what they feel is actually against what they are actually demanding for. Which they get. Yeah, they need the social benefits. Wakabagala kuddayo na kavera akawungezi, but they don't want to participate in the issues that affect me and you. When you boycott a parliamentary sitting, how does it benefit me as your constituent, as your voter? How do I benefit? Yes, the issues you are raising are pertinent, and we believe it should be done. The government should be responsible for producing these people that are missing. You get? But how do you force the government to produce these people when you are not actually using your power as a member of parliament, using the floor of parliament in that August house to advocate for such issues? Instead, you are just going there to hide in the canteens and have lunch and put in your fingerprint that you have attended to get your allowance. If the issues are to protect the individual, me and you, who are directly affected by these human rights violations, my approach would be one. Yes, you have decided to protest, leave parliament. Why don't you leave parliament with its own benefits? Omube omuleka n'ebibye byonna n'agenda. Muzire n'emisaala, muzire ne allowance, n'emmotoka bizzeeyo. Bamanye nti the issues you are fighting for, they are genuine issues. And you mean what you are meaning.
Is that feasible here in Uganda, in the Ugandan parliament?
That's what I'm telling you. We lack the political will of these leaders. Call them opposition, call them NRM. They are all together on the eating table. In their novels. Those are in their novels. When it is issues of sharing the salaries and allowances, we are together. When it's issues to demand for the reason of political prisoners, how can now opposition again? That's where the point should be. Nti, to make this government understand, because you cannot come to discuss where the other side is coming with guns. There must be that kind of force to push back so that this government can actually realize the importance of your call. Because this should not be a call for news. You wonder where, when I see the leader of opposition attending meetings or vetting the other people because there are allowances, and he tells the other MPs don't go to the sittings of parliament. Why do you even have to access parliament in the first place?
Why do you go there?
Why do you go there? You get? Singa aba bakulembeze ba opposition bavayo ne basigala ku nsonga yabo. We are demanding for the release of all the political prisoners.
Yes.
Kidnaps arbitrary arrests and unlawful arrests should be stopped with immediate effect. Rule of law, the protection and adherence to the human rights and freedoms should be respected as a must. They should make it a stand, and we know that this is our actually an issue that affects us directly. But veyo tebadda ku parliament bazeyo emisala gyabwe tebadda mugifuna n'ebimotoka byabwe babizeyo tebadda mukulinnyayo. That's when the government will hear that actually what these people are fighting for is the people that affects us, the common people.
Thank you.
And these are our ideas. So if they are representing me, why can't they follow my ideas?
Thank you so much, Councillor. To close to Councillor Brighton. If you look at what is going on in Parliament, especially the opposition MPs, what they are fronting and what they are saying about human rights, is this the best approach that would have been used in order to end human rights violations here in Uganda?
Well, the issue of human rights has been a long-standing issue, and I think one of the things is that I'll measure more on policy. In 2020, we put there was a law that was on the floor of Parliament on Human Rights Defenders Bill, and that is a law that basically was focusing on three things, was bringing three things. One, it was imposing obligations on government protect human rights defenders, both political, environment, whatsoever. And then secondly, it was also trying to expound the work of human rights defenders, not just to bring an action, but I think it would also provide for such kind of approach, probably maybe boycott, which I think I also don't agree with. And also trying to see how human rights defenders can promote the rights of other people, not just bring a suit against them. And then the other one was to criminalize the acts of the security agencies to enable a safer and working environment for the human rights defenders. That was the bill. But we have here members of Parliament who play a lot, whose role is to legislate, but they have let that bill rest till today because now it's not actually talked about. The other bills are coming, usually the income-related taxes, or now the government can get more revenues, and other, lack of better word, bogus laws that they debate and pass. So now that takes it to the priority of our leaders. Do they prioritize the human rights issue? Do they give it the first priority? If you cannot pass the law that could protect people who are defending other people's rights, or people whose rights are going to be defended, is that if you have that law in place, it enforces an obligation on government to even release political prisoners that are fighting for the rights of generally all Ugandans that want change, that probably could enhance our human rights. But that law up to now, it has not been elected and has been forgotten. It's just in the corners of Parliament. So now that gives you in terms of what the Parliament is supposed to do in terms of legislation, to provide laws that could probably be used, because I know people are going to say that we have a lot of laws, which is okay, good laws that are not enforced.
We have good laws on
enforcement.
Yeah, but most of the time when you have those laws, at least they show you the weaknesses of even of other arms of government that are supposed to. Because if because you're trying to also test the independence of courts. At least if you know I have a law that protects me, I can use it everywhere. Wherever I'm caught, I'm using I did this in line, in the ambits of this law. So now this takes us to policy, is that this human rights is that we need all those laws that we know at the end of the day, that whenever I am arrested for any human rights, because now that law was actually elaborated because you have someone, human rights defender, we just said. It also elaborates on the functions that they should do. If I'm doing political human rights, I have a coverage on which rights I'm supposed to do. So probably if I have exceeded on what I'm supposed to do, it's why I'm in sales. Yeah. But that law up to now was not enacted, and now you can't.
Did it also have this the part where civilians being tried in court martials?
No.
You didn't have that?
Didn't have.
That was a court ruling.
That was a court ruling. Yeah, so now me, you cannot come and justify for you to boycott plenary sittings, yet you cannot even enact the laws that is intending to protect to the rights and freedoms of people. And then you come and boycott, yet you're enjoying the social benefits, of course, luxury benefits.
So to you, this is ping pong?
No, it's just pretense. You come and share. We share cake here. Then when we move outside this the studio, we are enemies. No, because you're trying to show that people who are outside here don't know that we're eating a cake together here. But you move out, you start creating an environment that actually we are on your side. Yet here I've just shared bread with you. And you're out, and I'm going outside. I'm saying I'm also hungry. I've not eaten anything. No, that doesn't make sense. Yes, they're just playing Ugandans. They're just playing Ugandans. But
the issues they are fronting is really about human rights.
Yes, the issues are okay. Nobody has a problem with the issues, but the approach they are easy. Kugambi, bogane omuntu, mugane nebi byonna. Because this is an issue that they are demanding government to respond to. They were given an ultimatum of 30 days, which lapsed. Instead of going to that parliament and use your authority, because their primary role is to do legislation, not to boycott. So what do you benefit when you boycott, but you are always in parliament corridors and moving around in offices, and you want to attend committees and have that cup of tea with them? Because they see the unseriousness in you.
And maybe also, I think the issues that they are floating. These are the issues that we know there are political prisoners there. We know that. Is that what we want? Is that how do we get the political prisoners there? How do we get them from there? I think that's the issue. One is that to be policy. One is that if you boycott, leave, saying no. You know what? We can no longer work with the government.
Because it has failed.
Yes, let's leave.
Until our issues are resolved, that's when we can come back to parliament.
I'm very sure. Is that this opposition gives legitimacy to the government. Exactly. If we don't have opposition, we literally don't have
then
government.
We don't have the government.
Is that we are in a dictatorial government, and now that's it. Now we are looking for another way out.
And we should also know that yes, we are dealing with the dictatorial government that doesn't recognize other political parties.
And that's it. But the moment you come and know you're in bed with government, you're sharing cake, and then at the end of the day you're saying no, we have issues. No.
They're saying they're not in bed. And nobody the other side, when nobody the other side.
But that's the reality.
That's the reality.
We have around 7 minutes okay, let me say 5 minutes to come to the end of the show. I wanted to go through some comments, a few of them. Most of the people here are actually balimo kwebaza. Thank you for the show. Kiza Zex says, thank you, Councillor Kato and Brighton, for enlightening the youth on how they can engage directly or into enforcement of human rights and environmental rights. Thank you so much, Kiza, for watching. We have Gerard Akena. He says, thank you, Councillor Tumusiime Kato and Councillor Brighton, for your unwavering support to justice and environmental protection measures. Cheers to you. Thank you so much, our viewers. Abasinga balimo kwebaza. I think those are the comments nene nzensobodde okubanga nsoma. So we are going to close the show from here nga tuwunzika on the issues to do with human rights and then environmental protection in Uganda. I'll start with Councillor Brighton. Yeah.
Well, as I've said, is that for us we need to first try to move our government, our institutions to recognize, promote, and protect the rights of people. To do this, one is that you have to be open to your people, that you represent. One, you have to create spaces for dialogue. Communicate, speak to your people, agree and disagree. And another one is policy, is that we need to look at those countries that are there. Which policies do they have? Or still, if we don't look at those countries that are there, we need to be creative in our own sense of our living. Look at that country, is that we look at, like I've said, I mentioned the law, the Human Rights Defenders Bill. It is intended to protect the rights of the rights of people who defend other people's rights.
Yeah.
And for me, that is a good law. And these are laws that we know that if we pass those laws, it will benefit not just human rights defenders, but even the people they defend. Because along the way, we've seen so many activists being arrested. We've seen even lawyers being arrested. We've seen organizations, being closed.
Yeah.
And these organizations and those human rights defenders are helping the government to overlook in the development, to overlook in the promotion of human rights. And I think this is the law that is supposed to, recognize their work, also give them the scope of operation, and also try to protect them from from the security agencies, which in my sense, at least from the legal perspective, it is a good law. So I think those are things that I know we should focus on: dialogue, policy, and then maybe the last issue is how this. I don't know how visible, realistic it is, but we need to start holding these people, these police officers, accountable. We need to hold them accountable. Because the thing is that, you see, to have a law enforced, you must be having educated enforcers who are also liable in regard to the law. Because, if I come and arrest people in a brutal way and you don't charge me, then you're creating an impression that I'm actually, what I've just done is good. So I think we need to put aside the power grid, self-interests, and then look at the ordinary Ugandan. To the rights of someone who's someone who's in the community who cannot speak for him or herself, someone who didn't go to school. So we need to make sure they understand their laws, recognize their laws, protect them, promote them, and protect them. I think this is it should be a shared responsibility for both the state and non-state actors.
Okay, thank you so much, Council, and that is what you've closed with today.
Well, yeah, apart from that, thank you for hosting me, and for the listeners and viewers, I'm happy that you spared your time to listen to us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Council Brighton. To you, Council Kato Tumusiime, as you close.
Yes, I will also add on what Council has said and say we have so many laws actually in this country.
On paper.
But the issue is about the implementation and the enforcement of those laws. The independence of these arms of government is very wanting, because it happens that judiciary and its courts of law can make a judgment and a ruling. It is clear that must be respected by all the other arms of this government. But the same other arms want not to hear what the courts have pronounced about an issue in this country, and nobody wants to care about why that one is happening. Like the situation stays normal in an abnormal circumstances. Members of parliament, of course, go in their parliament, enjoy what they enjoy, use the tablets, use the Wi-Fi free. I don't know whether we are still paying for them OTT. I don't know. Because that was a suggestion that came up earlier. Pray their matatu and solitaire in that parliament, enjoy all the other benefits, and when they leave that house, that's when they can come up to start talking about issues that affect us as the people. When they had a full opportunity on the floor of parliament, things that must be put in priorities in their order, I just ignored. Mostly. That's the problem that we are facing at this country. The political will itself is very wanting. We have people that maybe they know what they are supposed to do, but they are not giving it an option. We have people that don't actually, they have no idea of what they're supposed to do in their different positions. But to say, it is our responsibility as a people, and especially young people, because the old, I think they still have nothing to lose in this all. But it's our responsibility now to put a call for actions against these individuals in their different capacities. Let us demand for that accountability. If a person is elected as a member of parliament and is not doing what a member of parliament is not supposed to be doing, let us put them to account. They must account for whatever they are doing for us in their different positions. And if we get that kind of behavior, that we have the power to demand for issues, and that power must be respected, and we demand for accountability from whoever, then we shall have a change in this nation. Thank you for watching our viewers.
I'm not adding anything. Have yourselves a wonderful day.